Alright, we're back with this bed we made, and I think we'll finish this game tonight. Maybe, possibly, I don't know. I saw that most people spend 3 to 4 hours with it, but I do tend to be a bit longer than that, you know. I like to take my time. So yeah, we finally solved the big old box puzzle. And I realized that we still have to have a reason for the police to investigate us, because that's initially how the game started. I completely forgot that, to be quite honest, over the last couple of episodes. Alright, Sophie, what do you have to say?
That ringing. Sounds like the elevator doors are jammed.
Uh-oh, okay. Quick check on the all's well that ends well. I don't think so. Progress. What do we have? Anne's riddle. Double keys, double the fun. Alright. Let's go. Ooh, this will be exciting. Close. Do we have anything? What are all those keys? No, that everything's fine, I think. Yeah. Everything's fine. Probably will. Oh, it's the. Oh my god, it's blood! It's the body. Holy. Okay. Breathe heavily. It's me after going up like 2 stairs. Holy shit, who is it? Who is it? Who is that? I don't know. Is that Bernard or who I don't... Who is that? Will be tat... Oh, but that's evidence. Oh no, it's like... I mean, yeah, you can't touch him because of resuscitation efforts.
Mr. Cruz? Mr. Cruz. Oh God. Oh God. What happened? Mr. Cruz's life insurance policy. Why did he have this on him?
Okay. Insured beneficiary Marcella. Okay. Date of commencement 58. So... Wait, which year do we have? I forgot. So it could be quite fresh, right? Coverage amount, monthly premium. Please renew policy at least once a month. Uh-oh. We will not throw away anything. I will not, like, will I look at it? Yeah, sure. I mean, also it's the 50s, 60s. I don't think they have fingerprints yet, so we can touch everything.
Is this about Paul? Does that mean...
Does what mean? Dear Mr. Cruz, thank you for reporting that guest's unacceptable behavior. We will look into it as soon as possible. However, I regret to inform you that we cannot divulge a guest's personal information regardless of the guest's behavior. As I'm sure you will understand, we are very concerned with our guest's privacy and our staff prides itself on its discretion. Please contact us should the guest bother you again. Yours sincerely, Bernard Leduc. The detective, maybe. Anything else? No. Oh, this is so weird. Anything else? Okay. Damn! Okay, let's see what... Oh.
I have to get the power back on.
Oh, he was alive! Oh, that was a horrible murder! That was really horrible. Whose suitcase is that? Holy shit. Like, things took such a turn. Like, we were cozy. Just in the last episode, we were so cozy. What? What is this? A pearl necklace. Alright. Cigarettes. A. B. Look, I forgot all the names. Wait. We can... Characters. not Andrew. Anne Beaumont. Oh my god. Okay, and it's Hector Cruz. Yeah, and she thought Paul... that he probably complained about Paul. Oh, wow. What on earth happened? I was on the 5th floor and heard the elevator door ringing repeatedly, so I went to check it out. I found Hector's body between the elevator doors, lying in a pool of blood. I checked his pulse and couldn't feel anything. On his person were 2 pieces of paper, a letter from Bernard and a copy of Hector's life insurance policy. My head is swirling with questions. What does it all mean? How did this happen? Who could have done this to Hector? This was in fact someone else's doing. Why did he have the life insurance in his hands, though? Like, was he already suspecting something? Oh, look. It's so nice. Oh. It's not snowy anymore in Berlin. It's getting warmer, and next week will be like spring temperatures, so... Thanks, climate change. Alright. No!
Hold on to
no! No! Don't do it. No, shit. I thought I could inspect it. Shit. Ah, this was so... That was not smart. Oh my god. I thought it was like
Paul.
inspect...
Lindsay's death really hit him hard. He hasn't been in the best headspace.
Fuck. February 14th. Man, I'm so impulsive sometimes. It's unbelievable. Montreal is much bigger than I had expected. Big cities always make me feel lonely, and that feeling was only exacerbated this morning by the fact that everyone around me was speaking a language I could not understand. Yeah, I get that. I actually do not like doing holidays in cities where I don't speak the language at all, and it's not because I don't like those languages. It's rather that I feel panicked. Like, I feel like if something happens, it will be so difficult to make myself, you know, understood. I bought an English-French dictionary at the train station, but I don't think I'll need it after all. English speakers seem more common in the downtown area, thank God. The hotel is nice. When I arrived, the whole staff was busy getting ready for some big event. It wasn't until I saw Marcella enter the lobby with a flower bouquet that I realized today is Valentine's Day. Hector and her were gone in a flash, and I was left feeling more alone than ever. Wishing Lindsay was here with me. Helping Marcella out these past weeks has been a great distraction, but it still hurts so much every time I think about him. I had hoped the pain would have gone by now. I probably need a double dose of Miltone to sleep tonight.
So Paul just needed to pass the time while Marcella was away. That's why he was observing us.
Thanks for spoiling it, Sophie. February 15th. Today I wanted to follow Marcella and Hector out of the hotel, but the sidewalks were so packed with people that I started having a panic attack. I tried taking a cab, and that's when I realized I was all out of money. It's been a while since Marcella's last payment, and the hotel room was more expensive than I had anticipated. I couldn't resort to selling the camera, so I decided to pawn my victory medal instead. It was hard letting it go after so many years, and yet it also felt strangely liberating. Maybe it's a sign I shouldn't be holding on to the past so much. Yeah, you know, you don't have to forget everything, but you also should not stick to it too much, especially when it's super painful. It can sometimes hold you back, but it depends on the person and how you do it, you know. There's not one solution for it. Okay, to fight boredom until Marcella and Hector's return, I started looking at the hotel staff. I heard Andrew and Beth at the reception desk discussing books and movies. They both seem like nice people. I wish I had found the courage to join their conversation. When you look at people all day and they never look back, you start feeling invisible. I noticed that Sophie, the maid in charge of cleaning the 5th floor, seems to share my interest for other people's lives. Maybe I should try talking to her.
Paul was hiding out right here. Did he ever find the person who was sneaking out at night?
God damn it. Who's sneaking out of their room every night? Well, it's one of the women to meet the other woman. It's probably Marcella who's going to Anne's room. The question has been driving me crazy since my first night at the hotel, so tonight I decided to investigate. I found a hiding spot near the ice machine with a nice view of the hotel whole corridor. My camera's at the ready, but there's been no movement for at least 3 hours, and I'm fighting not to fall asleep. No need for Miltone tonight. I thought being a detective would be more exciting. Maybe Marcella's right. Maybe it's time I let go of Mr. Spade.
9:45? So, Anne and Marcella met here this morning while I was busy cleaning room 504.
I awoke around 9:30 and realized I had fallen asleep sometime in the early morning. I was about to go back to my room when the guest from room 507 came to sit on one of the chairs close by. She's been there ever since, and I don't dare leave my hiding spot in front of her. So he does not know that they're together. So Marcella hired him without telling him that she was with Anne. Interesting. Marcella joined the guest from 507 around 9:45. Apparently she told Hector she didn't love him anymore. And he's now convinced she's been cheating on him. That explains why he assaulted me out of the blue yesterday evening and accused me of having an affair with his wife. The guest from 507, I've learned her name is Anne, has just said she might have an idea on how to solve their problem. I'm thinking of revealing myself, but I don't want to anger Marcella. The longer I wait, the more awkward it will be when I do come out. Maybe I should. Yeah, my question is, sorry, that was a long pause, because I'm thinking, it is working in here, you know. Did you hear the wheels? Whether Marcella hired him, because I initially thought she hired him to kill her husband. Weirdly though, this entire text does not really sound like it, but we found this diary. We also found Anne's cigarette case, but that could also mean that they just sat there because that's an area where you could sit down. And this here was directly found next to the murderer. Why did I get the murder weapon? Man, it's annoying. But there was... Okay, so someone sat here. They had cigarettes. And then there was an altercation. I mean, that is very suspicious. Both the diary and this is so suspicious. And this is Paul's camera. This is also here. Maybe he was hiding here to do something. So the main murder took place here. Oh!
Oh, so Paul's work with Marcella was to follow her around like a private investigator, to help her with research for her novel.
Yeah, because all his texts don't really sound like he's pumping himself up to murder someone, you know. Dear Paul, I'm sorry to hear you are in such a dire situation. You seem to possess a lot of useful skills, and it's a shame employers cannot see past your medical history, but don't despair. I've been writing novels for almost 8 years now. My publisher takes most of the sales revenue, but I was still able to collect a substantial sum of money over the years. Now I would like to use that money to hire you. I'm getting tired of romance novels, and I'm thinking of branching out into crime fiction. As a sort of research, I would like you to follow me around town and take notes of my comings and goings. I'm aware this is a very unusual job, but considering you are able to track me down, I believe you would make a great private detective. In addition to your salary, I would cover all work-related expenses. And you would of course be the first to read the manuscript once it's finished. Sincerely, M. Why are all these things from Paul here? Did also something happen to him? It feels a little bit more like Marcella set Paul up.
Paul really got into his role.
Dear Paul, I hope spying on me isn't proving too exhausting. You've really inspired me so far and I already have tons of ideas. The trench coats you bought were a nice touch. You look straight out of a film noir. I also noticed you started smoking. It's probably another way for you to get into character, but maybe that's pushing it a little too far. You know best, of course, but don't pick up drinking next. At this rate, I should be able to start writing in 2 or 3 weeks. Thanks again for your help. Maybe she was followed by someone else.
He followed Marcella to Montreal even though she was done with her research.
Why did you follow me to Montreal? As I already told you, I do not require your services anymore. I'm starting to worry you are taking your role a bit too seriously. You're not a real detective. You have to let go. Or maybe that's part of the setup. I also wondered, okay, so we had this other room that we...
Hello? Is anyone in?
The fuse box. Just get to the fuse box in the janitor's closet, Sophie. It's not far.
This room. Maybe this person... Lucky coin financing. Because this person has a lot of financial stress, right? And with the thing is, with the trench coat and everything. It sounded like Paul either went a little bit too far or because his diary didn't sound like it. Maybe it did though. Maybe it was someone else? No, doesn't make sense. Man, I don't know. It's changed. It's out. And someone just took a shower. Right? Oh, that's so creepy. Oh, that is so creepy. Oh, I'm so creeped out. No, I don't see that. Oh my god. Yeah, that's the point where I'm starting to creep myself out. That's the party girls. That's the affair. And that's the cruises. Okay. Oh.
It's too big. I guess I'll need something pointier.
Okay.
That worked, thank God.
Oh, that's good.
Now,
So now I
get
have
the
like
power back.
an excuse that I did this. Oh god, this again.
Eugene, what I would give to have you with me right now. Your note will have to make do.
Yeah, blah blah blah. If there's a power outage and I'm busy preventing another part of this hotel from collapsing, here's what to do. Check fuse box plans for required amperage for each socket. Remove all blown fuses from sockets. Tip, blown fuses are usually blackened. Screw in new fuses in sockets, make sure amperage is correct. Flick big lever to restore power. Eugene. So 15, 55, 25, so... Wait, I don't have a fuse. Why would I have a fuse?
How does Eugene do this again?
Yeah.
Fuses. I probably need new fuses.
Ugh. They should be here though, right? Because, no, they're not. I inspected this 1,000 times.
There's anything
There's
here
one.
that would... Yes, this is what I need.
2? Only 2? No. Apparently I will find... Oh. Alright.
How did this end up here?
Save combinations. Ooh. So type P is 25. Type S is 20. Type A is 15. So I need this. Scroll. Oh. Upwards. Type S, so I need type G. And this is 20, so I need type S. Alright, didn't kill myself. That's nice, right?
Power's back. Now, I should go down to the lobby. Call the police.
Yeah, in a minute. So we got 23. Oh, yeah, but this is too difficult, I guess.
Is there anything I've forgotten? Once I leave this floor, I
Oh.
probably won't be able to come back.
Well, I don't think so, because with the 509, yeah, it's I wonder whether we'll find something. I think it is what it is right now. I think I spend a lot of time doodling. So, let's go. Let's deal with what
I'm
we...
sorry.
Oh yeah, but don't they have like a
Sorry, I'm so
staircase? Shouldn't
sorry.
every building have like a staircase that has an elevator? There's no way there's not a... I mean, it's for story reasons, I get it, but... Come on. Especially for like the maids, you know. An hotel like this where they don't have to be in the same elevator than the guests. Whew.
Phone. I need a phone. Beth? Where is everyone?
Well, that means we can go behind reception and look for stuff. Also... throw that away. While we're at it. While we're at it, you know. Yeah. Can't hurt to get rid of this trash. Clap. There you go. No, I wanna snoop. There was like a note. Ugh. All right. In real life, I would also.
Montreal Police Service, Station 22.
There's a man dead. He's been murdered. I need the police.
Please stay calm, ma'am. Where are you right now?
The lobby. But the body, it's upstairs.
Can you give me the address, please?
Oh, 1178 Drummond Street.
All right, ma'am. Officers are on their way.
Thank you.
Oh, nice.
Now, I just have to wait for the police. So Anne and Marcella really are planning to run off together. Was what happened to Hector part of their plan?
I mean, it sounds
Is this
like
the
it.
brochure Beth was talking about? The one that came in the mail for Anne? Why does the VIP want to meet with Paul? Maybe he fell for his role-playing and wants to hire him as a private investigator.
To our reception staff, discard previous instructions. Our prestigious guest has expressed the desire to meet the guest from room 505. I cannot fathom what such an illustrious man wants from such a freak, but if you see him, please direct him towards my office.
Bernard really wants Paul out of the hotel.
I've heard more reports on the guest from room 505 and his strange behavior, following people around, spying on guests, etc. As you are all aware, we have a very prestigious guest in 602. And I would hate for this stay at our distinguished establishment to be tarnished because of some other undesirable guests. Inform the guest in 505 that he must vacate his room as soon as possible. Invent an excuse if you have to. Also note that from now on, our if you can pay, you can stay policy no longer applies. Guests who do not fit the hotel's new elevated standards should be denied a room. Jesus. Bernard. Oh, God. Waiting it out. The worst phone call to make. Seeing the light. Confusing fuses. Lockpick needed. Lights out. And we get some train tickets. Okay, so my question is, maybe Paul continued this because he wasn't hired by... It is so weird. So here's the thing. In Paul's diary, he writes that Marcella hasn't paid for quite a while, but he didn't say that the contract was over. So my idea is that Marcella planned all of this, that she hired him for research for the book, which is very inconspicuous, you know, because obviously he would have correspondence evidence of their relations, so she couldn't say she's never met this man in her life, you know. So what she did though was maybe faking it in a way that she said, you know, we're done with the research. Why are you still following me? And that is her hook. That is her hook. Because then she can tell the story that he turned from a collaborator into a stalker. And then she can also say, I should have known because he initially stalked me and was super creepy. And then basically he was maybe wildly jealous or whatever. And then he killed my husband. And I think Paul is not aware of that whole ruse. I think he was still thinking that she had still hired him. And given how he reacted to her initial letter when she told him that it was a little bit creepy the way he found out her name, and he was so apologetic, he was so, you know, very careful about it, and was really, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I didn't want to make you feel this way. So, of course I can, you know, there's stalkers who are very manipulative, but I don't want to get too, you know, armchair psychologist here. So I would say Paul had good intentions. He didn't want to creep her out or anything. He wasn't obsessed with her. Not at all, I think, actually. So I think he was still under the... She gave him... I think she gave him the task to follow them to Montreal as well. But for some reason she hid this. And then made it to look like he did it on his own account. Woof. It's very odd. Anything here? Anything of interest? I'm so confused.
Oh, hey you. Great timing, right? I'm thinking if we're lucky, Bernard will let us go home. No point in working in the dark. Sophie? Bean, you're not scared of the dark, are you? Hey, is everything okay?
I found Mr. Cruz. Hector.
Oh, you did? What was the bloke up to?
You don't understand. I found his body. He's dead, Beth.
Oh, merde. Merde. Sit down, okay? You look like you're about to faint. Have you called the police?
Yeah, they're on their way.
What happened? Was there an accident?
No, I don't think so. Someone did this to him.
You mean... Merde. Do you think it could have been Anne and Marcel?
I think yes. Because Paul didn't sound anything like he was full of rage or anything. It was private diary. Why would he... I mean, he could fake it, but still, it's... I still wonder why we found Anne's cigarettes there. It's a really weird thing.
I found something on Hector that would point to that. Yes.
Wait, so you touched the body? The dead body?
I mean, yes, kind of.
Sophie, rule number 1 when stumbling upon a dead
Well,
body.
we wanted to see
Do
if it was
not touch. Could really get you in trouble.
not in the 50s.
So, what did you find?
There was this letter that made it sound like Marcella would get a lot of money from her husband's death.
Throw the affair into the mix and you get a pretty good motive.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm probably going to hell for saying this. Who am I kidding? I'm going to hell anyway. But I can't really blame her if she did it.
It seems so easy as an explanation because But I can't... Everything we know about Paul, it wouldn't make sense that he's like this obsessive weirdo. Because he's more... He's a tragic figure, but nothing in any of his writing seemed very angry. Everything was just very defeated and sad. So I don't think he's the type who would kill. One thing I have at the back of my mind is Anne's husband, or ex, because he was so abusive, and I feel like maybe he has something to do with it, but I'm not quite sure, because if he had something to do with it, then Paul would have known who Anne is, and in his writing he said like he didn't know. And also the person that sneaks out at night, I still think it was the two women meeting up, you know, and that's why they wanted probably to change the rooms so they could be closer to the rooms. What do you mean? I understand. Now let's say what do you mean, because I feel like they had everything. Here's another thing. The money that was missing from Marcella's transfer, and then I think she got a letter from her bank that said, sorry for the breach. Maybe her husband already was like thinking something was happening and was taking her money so he could bind her to her. That would be a reason to kill him, because then she would be financially so dependent, and that's maybe even why she stopped paying Paul or something, because she couldn't afford it anymore, and her husband. But yeah, because we have not really heard a lot about Hector aside from that he's a mommy's boy. So I can't really put my mind into him because I don't know him really. But let's say what do you mean, just so she explains it a little bit.
I'm not sure I'm following. You can't blame her for murder.
I'm not excusing it. I'm not. Just... women like Anne and Marcella have so few options. It's like the world is designed to keep them apart.
Beth.
Oh, you know. You know. I've been with a woman before. Ziva Rivers. She's a photographer in New York. We were together for a while, and I was so in love. It was like a fire rain couldn't put out. I guess like anything that intense, it wasn't meant to last. But while it lasted, I was the happiest I've ever been. And if something had come between us, kept us apart, I would have done just about anything to be with her. Maybe that's what happened here with Anne and Marcella.
Thank you. Thank you for trusting me with this.
Maybe now you can understand why I care so much about you. I don't know if I'm feeling inspired by Anne and Marcella, or if it's the shock of being so close to an actual murder, but, I'd really like for us to be more than just friends, Sophie.
Weird timing, gotta say, but she really just poured her heart out. And obviously, I will go for it. Look, I mean, I didn't do it for nothing in the last couple of episodes, so yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But still, really
I'd
awkward
like that
timing,
too.
Beth.
That's great.
There's still a body upstairs.
The police is here. Just be mindful of what you tell them, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
The ice pick wasn't the murder weapon, though, because it was very clean, right? Did we find the murder weapon? We did not.
Miss Roy?
We did not.
Miss Roy? Miss Roy!
Oh, sorry.
Me too.
I was distracted.
I really need you to focus right now. I don't want to be here all night, and I'm sure you don't either.
No. No, I don't.
So, as I was saying, we're trying to ascertain the circumstances of Mr. Cruz's death. Can you tell me how you came to find the body?
I was cleaning room 509 when I heard the elevator bell ring. again and again and again. I thought maybe a child was playing with the doors, so I went out in the corridor, and that's when I saw him. All the blood and...
Why was the elevator bell ringing?
I'm sorry?
You said you heard the elevator bell ring. Why was it ringing? I assume it wasn't a child after all.
I'm not sure it malfunctioned probably. Why would I lie? I mean, Mr. Cruz's body was blocking the doors. You doofus. You saw it. There was blood everywhere. Also, I couldn't say I'm not sure it malfunctioned probably because the blood was really in the elevator. That's weird.
Well, Mr. Cruz's body was preventing the doors from closing.
Really? When we found the
Oh my
body,
God,
it
Maurice.
wasn't that close to the doors.
Oh, the stairs are blocked because of the renovations, so the elevator's the only way out of the 5th floor. I had no choice but to move the body. Just a little.
Ah, so that explains the traces we found. Thank you for clearing that up. So, what did you do after that?
Well, that's when the power cut. So I had to go to the janitor's closet.
Yep.
To access the fuse box.
Exactly. I changed a few fuses and turned the power back on.
But there's a lock on that box, isn't there? Did you have the key?
It wasn't locked. I wouldn't lie in this case because why? It doesn't feel like... that feels, you know, like I will get into trouble a lot more. Also, maybe he's trying to kind of catch me in a lie because if they didn't see like the gigantic amounts of blood in the elevator, the open elevator, because if he hadn't blocked the doors, the body, then there wouldn't be any blood inside because the doors would have been closed. So, Maurice, are you playing a game here? Are you an ice pick?
No, I didn't. Only Eugene does. But I thought an ice pick might do the trick, so I went to the ice machine to get one.
You're a size 7, I suppose.
Yes, I am. Why?
What did you see when you went to the ice machine?
There was blood. A lot of it.
Did you touch anything?
Did they have fingerprints in the 50s or not? Let's be honest here. I might have touched a few things. Look, I was frazzled. I'm like a civilian. I don't know shit. I'm not a policeman. Maurice, you're the strong, intelligent policeman. I'm just a dumb maid. What, you know.
I might have touched a few things. Just to figure out what had happened to Mr. Cruz.
Sorry.
Of course you did. Why so many witnesses can't help but compromise the evidence is...
Sorry.
just beyond me. Anyway, what did you do after restoring the power?
I took the elevator down to the lobby. That's where I called the police.
Do you remember what you said to the operator? The exact words.
No, I'm afraid I don't.
You said there's a man dead.
Well,
He's
obviously.
been murdered.
That's possible.
What makes you so
Maurice.
sure it was murder?
Should I do your job here? It was just an assumption. I've been snooping around. It was just an assumption. I don't even have to say that I was snooping around because honestly, like, the amount of blood, something happened. Like, he didn't just faint. What the heck? It was just an assumption.
I just assumed. What with all the blood. It just didn't look like an accident, you know?
I see. Would you say you're an
Yep.
observant person, Miss Roy?
I think I would, yes.
Good. Then maybe you can help me fill in a few details about this case.
I'll do my best.
Let's start with the victim's wife, Marcela Cruz. Apparently she left in quite a hurry this morning. What can you tell me about her?
I don't know what she's talking about. I'm just a maid. Why would I say that I've been snooping? That would get... This is the 50s and 60s. The police will definitely tell it to the hotel manager and then I will lose my job. And honestly, I don't want to go to jail, but I also don't want to lose my job. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't really know anything. She just looks like a loving, caring wife.
Really? That's odd, because we learned a lot about Mrs. Cruz when we went through her room. And let's just say that loving, caring wife are not the first words that would come to mind.
Oh?
She's a lesbian, involved in some sordid affair with the guest from room 507, Mrs. Beaumont. Have you ever witnessed them engaging in immoral behavior?
What do you mean?
I'm asking if you've seen them being, intimate.
No, I haven't. No.
And did you hear them discuss their deviant ways in front of Mrs. Beaumont's son, perhaps? Imagine what kind of effect such perversion can have on a young child.
No, I didn't hear anything.
Did you hear them express their hatred of men? Did they ever talk about using violence against men?
Oh my
Did you hear them
God,
speak ill of
Maurice.
Mr. Cruz?
Take a stand. Oh. Take a stand? I don't know if that would... No, let's deny. Let's be... Okay. I know what you want me to do here. To make a great, amazing speech on equality, and LGBTQIA plus rights. But this is the 50s, and he's a bigot. So we will deny, and then get out. That's the first rule you get. Like, every single good lawyer will tell you. Just don't talk, don't give anything away, don't show them anything about you. So...
No, I didn't hear any of that. I'm sorry I can't be of more help.
No, I'm sure you are. But we're not
All
quite
right.
done yet, Miss Roy. We've learned from one of your colleagues that the victim had a fight with a guest named Mr. Spade. What can you tell me about him?
I don't know anything about him. Why would I know this?
I don't know much. Only that he seems nice.
Nice.
Oh,
I
really?
wouldn't be so sure.
Oh?
We found out that Mr. Spade is
What?
fresh out of a madhouse. When we called the place, they painted quite the picture of him. Did you ever see him display odd behavior in or around the hotel?
No. I mean, we've all got our little quirks, don't we?
Did he seem obsessed with Mrs. Cruz?
A little, maybe, but
Obsessed enough to kill her husband?
no. Nothing like that. We all have our obsessions. Me, for instance. I'm obsessed with celebrities and gossip magazines, and...
You don't seem to understand, Miss Roy. Mr. Spade is not like you and me. He may look like us, but he's not. He's dangerous and needs to be taken off the streets. So tell me, did you ever see him be violent or aggressive?
I will not take a stand. Even if that's the right thing to do in this game, it's the wrong thing to do in the time that we're playing in. You don't do that. She would get in so much trouble and she would help no one. Look, Maurice is a bigot. You cannot... And he's in power. That's the main thing. He's not just a bigot, he's a bigot in power. It's the same as with Wendy and Linda. Wendy's reaction is very understandable because Linda is, hopefully the names are right, because otherwise I apologize, Wendy as a maid doesn't have as much power as Linda, and so even if it's unfair and it's shitty, but she can't do the big gestures because everything is stacked against her, she will lose her job. So I will deny.
No, I didn't.
All right, then.
Can I leave now?
Yes, you can. Thank you for your cooperation, Miss Roy. We'll be in touch if we have any more questions.
Do I have a nice coat on? Can I see it?
Bernard was strangely chipper on the phone. That can't be a good sign. I guess I'll know soon enough. Let's go see what Bernard wants.
Maurice Tremblay is a detective lieutenant with the Montreal police. He's about what one would expect from a detective. Stern, straight-laced, tired, and always carrying either a mug of coffee or a notebook. He looked like he hadn't slept in days, which makes sense with how hard the police have been working themselves trying to round up every last supposed deviant in the city. Maurice is old-fashioned, like a lot of men his age. His assumptions about women, or anyone who is like him for that matter, made that clear. I wish he wasn't the one in charge of the investigation into Hector's murder, but I'm not sure any other detective would make much of a difference. Roger is the policeman who escorted me through the precinct when I was called in to be interrogated. He seems nice enough. I wish I had more work to work with, but I have to remember that I can't get inside everyone's heads. Wait, I could have...
The atmosphere is so different in here. Will it ever feel like it used to?
I could have snooped on Roger? That's hilarious. Really? Everything's so clear. Oh, look! One missing balloon.
It'll probably be a while before the hotel reopens. Anne, Marcella, and Paul are all suspects for Hector's murder. Was there anything I could have done to protect them?
Only by implicating one or the others. And honestly, I'm not sure who could it have been. So I think actually, you know, I will sit on that high horse. I think I did the right thing. I think I did the right thing because I only could have cleared one or the other of them by basically throwing the other one under the bus. And through really horrible means, because the detective was prejudiced against gay people, but he was also prejudiced against people with, you know, basically, is it neurodiverse people? Yes, I think it is. So either way, it would have been for the wrong reasons. So I think, you know, you only could have helped if you would have played on weird assumptions. So no. And also, I do not know who it was. So I can't, you know. Okay, death and deviancy at Clarendon stores. Montreal police continue to move forward with the investigation into the tragic death of an American tourist, Hector Cruz. The 32-year-old insurance agent, accompanied by his wife, was enjoying a stay at the Clarendon Hotel when his life was tragically cut short on Monday. Though the investigation has yet to conclude, Detective Lieutenant Maurice Tremblay revealed to the press that Mr. Cruz's death has been ruled a murder. Multiple suspects have been apprehended and taken in for questioning. One such suspect is Paul Morgan, an unmarried Army veteran who stayed at the Clarendon alone, 2 doors down from Mr. Cruz. On Sunday, one day before the murder, Morgan was seen verbally, then physically provoking Mr. Cruz in the hotel lobby. Yeah, because he thought they had an affair, which is ridiculous. Investigations have revealed that Morgan is a former patient of McCord Psychiatric Hospital in Syracuse, New York. According to hospital personnel, Morgan was admitted for displaying erratic, occasionally aggressive behavior. He was released less than a year ago. Mr. Morgan immediately struck me as strange and unsettling, recalled Bernard Leduc, owner of the Clarendon. I was the most vocal in my desire to eject him from the hotel as soon as possible, and I took great strides to make this happen. Although no formal charges have been filed as of yet, the incident has led to an increased interest in the movement against the planned construction of the Ray of Light psychiatric hospital. In a strange twist of fate, if construction is sanctioned, the hospital is to be located just down the street from the Clarendon. The victim's wife, Marcella Cruz, is also considered a person of interest by the police. Mrs. Cruz's absence following the discovery of Mr. Cruz's body was seen as conspicuous and suspicious, said Detective Lieutenant Tremblay, adding that further evidence suggests that Mrs. Cruz is involved in a homosexual affair. Mrs. Cruz was apprehended by policemen at the Gare Centrale de Montreal. Oh, shame. She was in the company of another of the Clarendon's guests, one Anne Bursey, whom police suspect is the woman with whom Mrs. Cruz engaged in sexual deviancy. Mrs. Bursey, a resident of Montreal, is a housewife pursuing a divorce from her husband, Louis Bursey. So take a stand would have been to basically... Yeah, but it doesn't make sense. I gotta say, it doesn't make sense. That I think taking a stand... First of all, it's ambiguously worded. And second of all, I'm playing this in the times of 1958, and taking a stand there, it doesn't give you shit. Because it's not like Sophie is like a high influential celebrity, you know. She's not like the president's wife. So if she takes a stand, she just gets beaten up and thrown into jail, you know, for deviancy. So, okay. Mrs. Bercy, a resident of Montreal, is a housewife pursuing a divorce from her husband, Louis Bercy. She and her 9-year-old son, Michael, eluded Mr. Bercy by occupying a room at the Clarington for over a month. In an interview with the Montrealer, Mr. Bercy deplored his wife's penchant for melodrama and urged her to cease poisoning their son's mind. Mr. Bercy was frank about his wife's history of poor decision-making, including making frequent late-night visits to the White Cat. The White Cat is one of the city's many underground bars and meeting spots known to attract sexual deviants, such as Mrs. Cruz and Mrs. Bercy. Yesterday evening, Montreal police promised more raids to counter the growing number of such establishments. Good lord. It would be really mean if I basically doomed both of them. It would be shitty. Honestly, I wouldn't really...
I'm not going
I
back
wouldn't
up there.
enjoy this. It would feel really, really wrong. I said wrong weird, but that's how it is. Because it would have been so unrealistic, you know, and most of these things in this game so far have been quite realistic. So yeah.
Ugh, go to hell.
Beth,
Hey,
Are you okay?
I'm out of a job. But other than
Why?
that, yeah, everything's just peachy.
What? No,
I hope you're luckier than I am. Come join me when he's done with you, all right? I'll be questioning my life choices on the mezzanine.
yeah. Yeah, okay.
Beth will find something. She's amazing. You can start a career in fashion. We can be a power couple. I can start my own detective agency. Next game. Yes.
Ah, Miss Roy. Come in. I
No.
suppose you know why you're here?
I'm not sure actually. Your phone call was a bit vague.
Yes, well, I prefer to have this conversation in person. We've been getting a lot of press lately, and not the good kind. I wouldn't expect you to understand the position I'm in, but I assure you, it's quite uncomfortable. To have one's life's work blown away like that. All thanks to some sexual deviance and a nut job. It's obvious to me now that I haven't been firm enough. For guests of such morals to be comfortable booking a few nights here and committing such a horrid act? Things need to change. This means elevating our standards to the highest possible level, and it starts with the people working here. It starts with you.
With me?
Yes. From what I've heard, you've been quite the exemplary maid lately. Clean rooms, satisfied guests.
I take my job very seriously, sir.
As you should. We'll see for the future, but for now, you'll be allowed to continue working here.
Thank you.
I'm not done. The police have finished their investigation and left a mess on the 5th floor. I want you to clean it up.
You want me to go back there?
Yes, why not?
I found a dead body on that floor. I'm not going back.
I'll make this simple for you. If you don't do it, you're fired.
I'm in a bind here because I want to see what's up there, you know, but also you can't fire me because I quit. He's an asshole. He just fired Beth. So let's do it.
You can't fire me. Because I quit.
Sure. I fire you, you quit. It's all the same to me. Just make sure to empty your locker before the end of the month. That'll be all.
Couldn't even give him like some shit. I really want to play the ending once more.
Hey,
Hey.
what a week.
Yeah. So, what did Bernard want with you?
Well, he was being kind of a jerk, so I quit.
You what?
I quit. I figured there was no point in staying if you were leaving.
I appreciate the solidarity, but you really didn't have to do that.
I think it's for the best. Did Bernard say why he was firing you?
Ugh. He was going on and on about keeping deviants out of the hotel, so I may have lost my cool a little.
A little?
I told him I was one of those deviants he was so afraid of. He froze for a moment, then
Damn.
showed me the door.
Well, I'm not one bit worried about you. I know you'll be just fine.
Yeah, I do have a cat-like ability to land on my feet.
And think of all the good times you'll have away from Bernard.
I'll miss annoying him. He turns into a particular shade of red that only I can get out of him. But no, you're right. It's time for new challenges. I could see myself owning my own establishment, one that caters to the right kind of crowd. Believe it or not, I do enjoy the company of people, just not, you know, the stuck-up, entitled clientele of this prestigious hotel. But maybe if I were behind the counter of, say, a bar, instead of a reception desk. I don't know. Is that silly?
No, it's not. In fact, you'd be perfect for it. You're the most charming person I know.
Thank you. I'm really glad you're in my life.
Me too.
Ooh, I don't want to lie like Anna Marcella. What do you think will happen to our guest? Can I kiss you? Oh, okay. So we can first have these.
I've been thinking about Anna and Marcella a lot.
Should I be jealous?
No, not in that way. I've been thinking about what they went through. How they had to lie and pretend. Day after day. How they had to live someone else's life for 10 years before they could finally be with each other. I don't think I could do that.
Well, I have good news for you, Bean. Times are changing. It's already started elsewhere, and it will get here eventually. One day, all the Annes and Marcellas of the world will live happily together, and no one will give a damn.
I really hope that's true.
It will be.
I don't know. Hopefully. Still waiting. Still waiting. I couldn't kiss her. I wanted to kiss her. No! We will have to play that again. Damn it! So I should have taken the stand? That's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Okay, we'll play that again. Like, that will not be the ending. Look, I thought I was, like, smart because, honestly, not giving them any evidence... I mean, I'm not in the position, right? Like, if I had evidence or not... Oh my god, I got the bad ending. I can't believe it. Oh. Jesus, what else? Third World War? Clarington Grand reopening. VIP only. Good lord. Sophie's choice. You chose to stand up to Bernard and quit, but now you have no job. Yeah. Final notice. Urgent. Overdue. Oh my god. So next time all's well that ends well, you completed the game. Well, yeah, we have a good ending, but everyone else got really the shitty ending. So the music is lovely. It's very Christmassy, by the way. It's so... Like music like this in a movie I'm immediately feeling like I'm in a fantasy movie. Cozy fairy tale fantasy.
Do you think it could have been Anne and Marcella?
I don't know. I don't know. Let's just go with another one just so we can have some diversity here in this alternative ending.
What about Paul? He and Hector were caught fighting.
The cops will want to talk to you. Know what you've seen. You need to be careful about what you tell them. If word of Anne and Marcella's affair gets out, they may put a label on them that will really hurt them. it might not even matter in the end if they did it or
Yeah,
not.
but the same applies to Paul, and that's the thing, you know. Just because you spend some time in therapy or in a mental hospital doesn't mean that you're in any way dangerous. In fact, statistics prove that neurodivergent people actually are more often victims, you know, of violence than the other way around.
I think I know what you mean. It's easier to put the blame on people who are different from you, even if you're wrong.
I'm glad you can see that. It makes the world a little safer to have people like you in it. You know, I was barely 20 when I was shoved into a police car for just hanging out with people who made me feel like I wasn't so messed up after all.
What? Where did that happen?
At a bar called the White Cat. It's supposed to be a safe space, but it gets raided by cops every now and then. I know Anne was caught at least once too.
Wait, you know her?
No, I've never talked to her, but I've seen her a few times. Marcella and her, they're just like me.
Thank you. Thank you for trusting me with this.
Maybe now you can understand why I care so much about you. I don't know if I'm feeling inspired by Anne and Marcella, or if it's the shock of being so close to an actual murder, but, I'd really like for us to be more than just friends, Sophie.
Yeah. I'd like that too.
That's... That's great.
I'm not changing that choice, okay? That,
The
no,
police is
I
here.
can't. Like, I don't wanna.
Just be mindful of what you tell them, okay?
Yeah, of course.
I wonder if what the game wants you to do is, like, remove all the evidence, but
You remember what you said?
I don't think that's the right thing to do.
Exactly.
I mean, someone was still murdered, and we don't even know if Hector Cruz was deserving of
You
it.
said
I
there was a
mean,
man dead.
because there was no indication that he abused his wife, you know. I mean, his mother was a little bit annoying, and he wanted to start a family, and he apologized, but it didn't sound like the apology was because of abuse or anything. There was no mention in any of the letters we found. And so I want to refrain from, just because they're a gay couple, you know, to help them potentially cover up their murder, you know. And that's why my stance is I don't want to, you know, tamper with the evidence too much, because first of all, I'm just a maid. I'm just a fucking maid, you know. I don't, like, leave me alone, you know. These are still pretty much, you know, richer people than I am, you know, with the exception of Paul. And so I cannot judge this. I cannot, you know, it's not like I know for a fact that they didn't do it, and so I will remove the evidence to protect them. It's more that I have no idea what happened, and so I will leave the evidence as I found it, because otherwise I would be incriminating myself, and then I might be going to jail to cover a murderer. No. So, you know, it's a huge dilemma right now that I'm having with the game, actually, where I feel like, is that what you want me to do? Because honestly, no. I refuse.
What are you trying to imply? That Mrs. Cruz killed her husband because she hates men?
I've seen it before from lesbians.
This has nothing to do with hate. It's about love. Not that you'd understand.
Oh, and you think you do? Then please, enlighten me.
She's brave enough to be with the one she loves. That doesn't make her a criminal. That doesn't mean she killed her husband.
I'm starting to worry you may be one of them, Miss Roy, since you're so eager to defend
And
these
I worry
deviants.
about your ability to do your job, detective, since you seem to be such a—
Enough! One more word. Just one more word, and you'll be spending the rest
Right?
of your night in
That's
a
what
cell.
but I...
Now get the hell out of here. I've had enough of you.
So I could have chosen to take a stand against them or against Paul. I couldn't do both. Ah, this is annoying.
Anne, Marcella, and Paul are all suspects for Hector's murder. Was there anything I could
Yeah,
have
but
done to protect them?
yes, of course. You could have tampered with all the evidence without knowing if any one of them was the murderer. But that's not. How is that ethically responsible? I mean, as it is, they still could have been the murderers. I mean, that's the. Yes, I doubt it, but still, I do not know it. So, removing all the evidence would seem absolutely mind-blowing to me, because also I'm implicating myself. Like, if they find that out, I really love this game, but this ending is just, it's flummoxing, because I do not know. Did you really want me to destroy, like, everything? That's ridiculous. Why? I do not know. That's just, no, it blows my mind. It blows my mind that this game is going into this direction. It's like, you're to blame for innocents being in jail. You could have just dumped all the evidence, and then everyone would be happy. What? Are you kidding me?
Oh, God.
Okay, let's get done with this.
Mr. Cruz's life insurance policy. Why did he have this on him?
I really wonder why we can't open this. This is very absurd. Because it feels like everything happened here, you know, at this corner. And there's no blood.
Oh.
Let's just throw everything away. Oh, she actually has Lysol. How to make solutions. Easy to make. Mix readily with water. Sheesh. Just put everything away. Man, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, apparently I never read that. Okay. Dear Mrs. Bursey, we have successfully processed your request to withdraw your son Michael Bursey from his school's schedule and system under the agreement that you will continue his education from home. Following this letter, you will receive the list of books and school materials you need to purchase in order to follow the curriculum from home. A social worker will be in touch to help you understand our milestones so that your son can benefit from our programs from the comfort of his home. Thank you for thinking of your son's education, Director Donald Biron. Alright. What's that? Mr. Smith, blah, blah. Oh my god, it's chainmail. What the fuck? Throw that shit away. Ugh. I hate that chainmail actually survived the internet, and it got worse. Like, all those shared tweets and everything, it's kind of all part of it, right? And sometimes I even take part, and it's like, share your favorite movies or whatever, but in a way, it's the same. It's horrible. Do not know who this came from. Oh, it's a little bit of money. Okay.
They'll appreciate the company.
I didn't see the coins the last time around. Okay. I know, he's still dead. I'm not a fan of this run, but I just want to see if it changes the game ending. So this time around with the policeman, I will do basically exact same thing, but I will take a stand for Paul just to see what Sophie has to say about that, because that's also a big topic in this game. It's not just the queer stories, but it's also how people deal with neurodivergent people, especially if they've been to a mental hospital, if they have a history, you know, because there's still a big stigma around it, and in the 50s, 60s it was even worse than that, so I want to see what she has to say.
Miss Roy, do you remember what you said to the operator? The exact words.
What if I'm now the suspect? What if because I lost all the evidence?
There's a man dead. He's been murdered.
He asked about my size because I'm a potential murderer. Suspect.
I just assumed. What with all the blood? It just didn't look like an accident, you know?
I see. Would you say you're an observant person, Miss Roy?
I think I would, yes.
Good. Then maybe you can help me fill in a few details about this case.
I'll do my best.
Let's start with the victim's wife, Marcella Cruz. Apparently, she left in quite a hurry this morning. What can you tell me about her?
I don't really know anything. She just looks like a loving, caring wife.
You wouldn't be trying to protect her, would you, Miss Roy? Because now's not the time for misplaced female solidarity.
No, I'm not.
It's different.
Let's try something else then. We've learned from one of your colleagues that the victim had a fight with a guest named Mr. Spade. What can you tell me about him?
I don't know much. Only that he seems nice.
Does he? It's very odd. Both Mr. Spade and Mrs. Cruz are prime suspects in this case, and yet we have very little evidence on either of them. It's almost as if someone has cleaned up after them.
What?
I really hope
That's
I'm
crazy.
wrong, though. Because if
I
I'm
don't
right,
know.
that would be obstruction of justice, and the people, or person, responsible could face very serious consequences. But hey, I guess we'll know soon enough.
Why not? Wait, what? No! So we'll get all bad endings on bad endings. You get a bad ending. You get a bad ending. Everyone gets a bad ending. Shit, Sticks. I don't want to go to jail. That's why I did not do the things in the first try.
Bernard sounded really dejected on the phone. The atmosphere is so different in here. I'll have to feel like
Dejected.
it used to.
Uh-oh.
Let's go see what Bernard wants. It'll probably be a while.
That's
before the
different
hotel
from-
reopens. They are not mincing
different
their
from
words when
the
it comes to
first
Bernard and his
runaround.
management. This doesn't look good for the hotel.
Okay. Though the investigation has yet to conclude, revealed to the press that Mrs. Cruz's death has been ruled a murder. Multiple suspects, blah blah blah. The Clarendon Hotel, managed by Bernard Leduc, is now under severe scrutiny. Yeah, opened in blah blah blah. However, the Clarendon took a significant hit during the crash of 29, which led to Fernand Leduc taking his own life. Ownership of the hotel and passed to Fernand's eldest son, Raymond Leduc, who got priced in an attempt to attract a new kind of clientele. What was once a high-class establishment became known as a hub of sexual deviancy and eccentricity, with the offbeat Raymond Leduc as its center. There's always some party going on, said one anonymous source of her stay at the Clarendon years ago. Lots of colorful folk piling into that old ballroom. Men in women's clothes and guests speaking in incomprehensible tongues. What does that mean? In 1955, Bernard Leduc stepped in to replace his brother at the Clarendon's helm. From the onset, he promised that he would return the hotel to its former glory. However, the debacle in which he now finds himself highlights the extent of Leduc's failure at restoring his father's legacy. Arthur Yates, a former regular client of the Clarendon, remarked that a murder at the hotel was no surprise. Despite Leduc's promise of big changes, Yates was left with the impression that the hotel was the same as it always was, but with a new coat of paint and a steep price tag. Faulty elevators, broken floorboards covered over with carpet, and shifty-looking men loitering in the hallways were among some of what he observed during his most recent stay. Yates, as well as a number of other clients, have been relocated to the Queen's Summit Hotel in the wake of Miss Cruz's murder. While a comeback is not impossible, recent precedent does not favor the Clarendon's fate. The Rosewood Hotel saw its doors close within a year after its name became associated with the kidnapping of Bella O'Neill in 1948. The drowning of the Carlson twins at the Regal Memorial Inn in 1952 marred its reputation so deeply that the owner was forced to sell the property. It's completely different stories, so at least we helped the other people, but well, fucked now, right? Probably.
Oh, right. Come in.
Ah, sounds
So,
more defeated, actually, than last time.
I suppose you know why you're here?
I would
Is it
guess
about
it
the
has something
murder?
to do with the murder.
Well, as you may be aware, the hotel's reputation has taken a solid hit. We've been mocked and ridiculed by the papers. It's It's truly humiliating. And that's not even the worst of it. With a story like this, guests may not flood through our doors again for a very long time. If ever, I may have no choice but to sell the hotel. Just years of arduous work gone down the drain. Anyway, it's clear now that we're going to have to tighten our belts for at least a couple of months. Which means cutting off dead weight.
I suppose I'm the dead weight.
Whoop.
Yes. I mean, not you specifically, but some of your colleagues certainly are. From what I've heard, you've been quite the exemplary maid lately. Clean rooms, satisfied guests.
I take my job very seriously, sir.
As you should. We'll see for the future, but for now, you'll be allowed to continue working here.
Thank you.
I'm not done. The police have finished their investigation and left a mess on the 5th floor. I want you to clean it up.
You want me to go back there?
Yes, why not?
I found a dead body on that floor. I'm not going back.
I'll make this simple for you. If you don't do it, you're fired.
So we'll do it because we saw that other... I thought with her qualifications she would be able to switch jobs, but she stays at this hotel, and then in my headspace she quits on her own terms with a good recommendation and can change, you know, the hotel and the boss,
Okay.
etc. So
Good. Well, what are you waiting for?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
that'll be all.
What's he doing here again?
Uh-oh.
Let's not make a scene, all right?
A scene? What the hell's going on?
Beth, it's okay.
I warned you where obstruction of justice would get you, Miss Roy. So here we are. You're under arrest.
What?
Ah, okay.
This is
So I
bullshit.
got the good ending for us.
You can't do this! Sophie, we'll get you a lawyer. It'll be okay. God.
So I should have just left some evidence. So one of them, either Paul or Marcella and Anne are implied. Dark end and dead end and gone. Thanks to your actions, no one was sent to prison. Police stumped in Clarington Hotel murder investigation. Yeah, but what happened to me? Like, I'm in prison. That's not nice. No one was sent to prison? I was sent to prison. Thanks to your actions, Paul avoided prison. But I was sent to prison. Paul's so young. I thought he was much older. But yeah, no, they're really young. Yeah. This is California. Thanks to your actions, Anne and Marcella avoided prison. Yeah, but I did not. Come on. That's not a good thing. So yeah, I guess, you know, it could have both of them or either of them, but someone. Bye Bernard. With no deviants to blame for his failures, Bernard gave the hotel back. Okay, so it's a good ending for everyone but me. Also, that's Bart Simpson. That's weird. You tampered with evidence, got caught, and ended up in prison. This bad you made. What the fuck? Oh, this sucks. Oh, I got out. Yeah. How old are we? How much did I age? How long was I in prison? I mean, at least they gave us this, you know, that's nice, but I don't know. It's dubious ethically because we still don't know who killed Hector. It could have been someone completely different, but because yeah, there was the other, like the first guest, you know. It could have been something like that, someone like that, or he just slipped. But also could have been like it was a huge fight and then he just slipped and smashed his head on the ice box, you know, and then tried to, but then either then if someone else was there, they might have abandoned him, you know, because the pearls were ripped, so an altercation did happen there. And we didn't see... Yeah, we don't know if the pearls were there before, but, you know, it's very likely that in some way, if they met, you know, and then probably the two women met there to leave, and then he found them, and then he was enraged. Maybe Paul's stuff was still there because he was still, you know, he had forgot it from the previous nights or something. Because I know he fell asleep, I think, while trying to watch someone, the person who was leaving their rooms or whatever. But yeah, I know the game wants to make us feel bad for the first ending that I chose deliberately, like my ending, but I think it was the right kind of choice with the information that we had. And it's quite possible that I missed some information, because even while I was sweeping up the evidence, you know, I found one or two more documents. Nothing that was like super insightful, you know, to the entire mystery. But still, I think in this case, since I mean, my protagonist is Sophie, and it's not like I'm Sophie. I'm Sophie's guide, you know. I'm Sophie's Jiminy's cricket. So my main goal is to keep Sophie happy and safe. And so for me, it's a bad ending if Sophie has to go to prison. And I get it. Her evidence tampering probably didn't cause her to stay in prison for as long as Anne, Marcella, and Paul. But I don't know if they actually committed a murder or not. So I cannot say. And so that is something that I'm not super happy with in this game. It's I said it before, like, it's morally so dubious that that supposed happy ending is either pushing the murder onto someone without any concrete proof. Like, either we can blame, like, you know, either we can remove all evidence that Paul had something to do with it, or we can remove all evidence that Marcella and Anne had something to do with it. If we do both, all of them are happy, but we get jailed, you know. So there's no winning, which that is realistic, I get that. But that the game wants us to feel bad about it, that's where I am not happy. Because it's not like Sophie is a spoiled rich brat, you know, who can take a stand and just make all these big gestures. She is, at least in my playthrough, you know, she was also a queer woman, working class. She had to tend for her sick mother. Who cared for her sick mother while she was in prison? I mean, probably Beth, because Beth is amazing, but it's not a given. So we have to take care of Sophie. So yeah, I'm not... It's less about the endings we got, and the different choices. It's more about how the game frames them, you know, that it's like, oh, look at what you did, you know, and it's like, I didn't do anything. And it's, you know, I mean, I didn't even just stand by. It's mainly, how would I know? If I don't know who's the murderer, I cannot just help them escape. That's just wild, you know. So, yeah, because it's confusing to me, because as I said, it's just because Anne and Marcella are like, you know, lesbians doesn't mean that they can't commit murder. That's not how this works, you know. And with Paul, actually, I'm less inclined, because I didn't see any, like, because Anne and Marcella, they hinted at it in certain letters. They hinted at it, and their actions were a lot more suspicious than Paul's. Paul's actions actually, I don't know, I'm less inclined to think that he had anything to do with it, but you never know. And so, I mean, it's so unfair in this game, because suddenly it's super realistic, you know, and it's like, oh, there's no real evidence. There's just circumstantial evidence, you know, but still they all go to jail. What's that about, you know? I don't think a jury would have, I mean, probably, yeah, it's the American system, right? So yeah, I don't know. It's, I don't know. But in general, so here's the main review. Despite the ending, which, yeah, I'm a little bit about, I loved this game. I loved the gameplay. I loved my character. I loved the clues and the writing. It was beautiful. The atmosphere was great. It looked beautiful. It played so smooth and it was so interesting. I'm not quite sure. I thought at the beginning that all the things I did in hotel rooms would have more of an impact, but I think it was more broad strokes. Maybe if you want to clean up, save one or the other, then maybe it's more about the details. But I also thought, if I stole something or if I kept something, or something like that, I would get into trouble, and I don't think that can happen during this game. And probably if I don't clean anything, I will probably get a different ending with Bernard. But as it is, I think I assumed more choices than I eventually had, because I also thought that while playing this game after every single chapter, basically, if I had left something out in the open or made it too obvious that I took something or moved something, that I would also get feedback from the guests, which I would have really enjoyed. But I do get that this is a very complex thing to design the game around, and you would have to create a lot more content, and that's always the big pickle, I think Supermassive Games with their anthologies, they do a pretty great job with it, because there's so much that changes throughout, with a lot of different choices that you don't even think will have an impact, and then they do. But I guess the studio is probably much, much smaller, and overall still, despite me not being too happy how the game's ending has been presented, I thoroughly enjoyed this. Like, this was the perfect timing as well, because it's December and it feels very Christmassy. It feels a little bit, wintry, obviously, because outside there's a snowstorm. And I had such a blast, and so much so that I really think I will include more mystery, crime-solving, murder mystery games into my channel's program in the future. I'm looking for some other games of this length as well, because I know there's some out there that are like super long, but I think the 4 to 8 hours length is my comfort zone, and I will see if I can find something that's equal, because I had so much fun with this. Like, connecting all the clues and the stories and finding stuff, that's just so my jam. So all in all, I still think this is one of the best games I've played this year, especially of the longer ones that I played on this channel, because here's the thing, I think you can be a best game of the year and still, you don't have to be perfect for that. It's more about what's the entire experience. And am I a little bit miffed at the ending? Yes, but it didn't ruin the game for me, to be quite honest. It didn't. I've played games where the ending completely smashed everything, and where, I didn't even want to replay them again. So in this case, I think the ending was not what I would have preferred, but that's because I like cheesy endings. I like an ending where everyone is happy, and honestly, Sophie going to jail, especially with how Sophie is as a person, I don't think she would survive in jail. I don't think so. I think she would be miserable in jail. I think she would be, it would be horrible for her, so I don't want her to be in jail. And what's with her mother? What happens to her then? So all that, it just gives me anxiety, so I don't like that ending. But I also don't want to implicate someone, even though I don't know if they did it. So for me, the only two choices really were either leave all out in the open and just be, and I think I helped them by not being like, oh, I snooped, I found out that they did this and that, because that would have been a shitty thing to do, So I think I did the right thing in my first playthrough, and in the second one, it's more like I thought I did the right thing of what the game wanted me to do, and I guess that was what it wanted me to do, because it showed that last image where Beth and Sophie were together, as like, oh, here's that's the actual happy ending, and I'm like, well, it's not really, is it though? We skipped a lot of horrible years for Sophie in jail though, didn't we? But yeah, all in all, still a fantastic game. As I saw, it's this studio's first game, so I can't wait to see what they will plan next, and I hope they will stick to like mystery games like this, because they really they really know what they're doing here. It's beautiful. It really was. I had so much fun, and I'm so looking forward to your reviews, analysis, interpretations, and opinions, especially on this ending. What would you have done? Who do you think did it? I still think it's quite possible that none of them did it, although I'm more leaning towards Anne and Marcella, to be quite honest. And I stated all the reasons throughout this last episode. But what do you think? What's your opinion? Do you think it's maybe some other mystery murderer? I'm so looking forward also to your opinion. How did you like the game and everything? Like, let's have a conversation about this, because I really want to know how you experienced this game and what you think of the ending. Yeah, I'll see what next bigger game I will choose. Maybe I will have some one-off episodes on Sundays in the next couple of weeks. Also, next week I have another business meeting, and so I will probably skip the Wednesday recording. Sorry, but then on Friday I will be back with something new. So I hope that's fine, because I do have something lined up, but I really did not enjoy that game, and as you probably know, I do not like not enjoying a game, and it was so... I don't know, I got so frustrated with the game that I don't want to share this. So, I don't know if I said this before, but sometimes I record a Let's Play, and if it's too miserable for me, and I feel like, it's too bad, like I did have such a bad time with it, I don't post it, because I still think, especially with like indie, indie developers, I do not want to air that. I don't like, if I still can get something good out of the game, then I usually will post it, but in this case it was such a miserable experience that I don't want to share it, because I don't want the developer to see that and be discouraged, of what they're doing. It's just not my thing. And so I would have an alternative for Wednesday, but I don't want to share that. And so I will skip that day, and then on Friday I will be back with something that I hopefully enjoy a lot more. And thanks for watching. Thanks for tagging along. And also, if you have recommendations, so for murder mysteries, so I want like the thriller, murder, or horror aspect in it, but the gameplay, if it's cozy like this, or more about clues and puzzles, and not the kind of weird puzzles where it's like, why do I have to solve this elaborate key puzzle now, I think in this game, what I really liked about the puzzles, they all made sense within the world, with the code and everything. There was none where you just thought, okay, this is just so I have to do a puzzle in this game, This doesn't serve any purpose within this world, or the story doesn't make sense for the characters to put like an intricate, weird Resident Evil type lock in front of the fridge or something. So yeah, if you have some ideas, you can share them in the comments, and then I will look at it and we'll decide if that's something for the channel. So long story short, man, I talked a lot, and this was a very long episode, at least for me. I'm now in for 2.5 hours. I will probably cut this down a lot, because I had to repeat this ending twice, and also roamed around a little bit, but yeah. See you next time. Bye! This is my self-recorded outro song, so I don't get hit with copyright claims. If you subscribe to a lot of fun tutorials, reviews, and let's plays.